The left is crying that conservatives are winning on Facebook as left-wing activists complain that Facebook has a right-wing bias. The delusion! When in reality, the real reason that conservative Facebook pages do so well on the internet is simply because right-wingers have better memes. And as we all know, the left can't meme. Hello everyone, this is Mr. Obvious, and today on the internet, we're going to talk about Facebook, the culture war, and Democrats and Republicans, liberals and conservatives. So, here on Politico, why the right wing has a massive advantage on Facebook. A company executive responds to claims of bias. Now, this article is funny. And it's funny for different reasons. I'm sure that the author who wrote this and the executive, they did not intend for this to be hilarious, but it is. And I'm going to tell you why. Because they do not understand the real reasons that right-wingers are successful on Facebook and left-wingers lose. The right is winning, the left is swimming in loss.
Loser! You're a loser! Are you feeling sorry for yourself?
I just love it, folks. I absolutely and utterly love it. This article is by Alex Thompson. Quote, the article begins, throughout 2020, Democrats have denounced Facebook with growing ferocity as a right-wing echo chamber with a conservative bias that's giving an edge to Donald Trump in November. See, the leftists are crying that right-wing groups and conservative groups are so successful on Facebook. And I could already tell you a couple of reasons that this would be. The right has memes, the right has, truth, and the right also has populism, aka we promote policies and ideas that are good for the people, not for corporations, not for the media, and not for the corrupt establishment, but for you and me, for the taxpayer. That is why conservatism is so attractive. But does Facebook have a conservative bias? My answer to that question is no, and I'm going to explain why as we go down this Facebook rabbit hole. But before we do, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell button for notifications for more content. And if you like this video, please consider giving it a share. I want you to take a look at the Donald J. Trump Facebook group, because this is the perfect example of how much conservatives are winning on Facebook. Here you can see Donald J. Trump, political candidate, he's verified blue. Text vote to 88022. Make America Great Again. And you can see that his Facebook page has 29 million likes and 30 million followers. Let me put that in perspective, folks. There are about 300 million something people living in the United States of America. 30 million people is 10% of the American population. Follows Donald Trump on Facebook. That is absolutely insane. To put this in perspective, folks, if I had just 1% of the American population as subscribers to my YouTube channel, I would be a massive, massive success. That's like 3 million subscribers. That is insane. I don't think I'm ever going to get to that, but hey, if you like my videos, share them. Maybe we could get closer. Shoot for 300,000. I think that's possible. But notice how this page has massive, massive success. The President of the United States is able to talk to people. He's able to, talk about his campaign. He's able to post videos. And this reaches millions of people far and wide. It is an extremely powerful tool. But what about the left? Is the left just as successful as Trump on Facebook? Well, let's find out. Let's look up Joe Biden. We go to Joe Biden's page. Here you can see. Are you registered to vote? Visit iwillvote.com. Joe Biden, politician. His page has almost 3 million likes and 3 million followers. This can't be real, right? You're saying that the candidate for president of the United States has 10% of the followers on Facebook that Trump has? We're seeing a lot of polls coming out saying that a lot of people support Joe Biden and that Joe Biden has a huge lead. But my friend, there's only 3 million followers on Joe Biden's page. Trump has 30 million. 30 million! How is this guy going to win the election? But I think this highlights the article's point. Conservatives are winning on Facebook. And Democrats and these liberals and these leftists, they are failing hard and they're crying. We're going to watch Assault Flow and see all the liberal tears. But before that, a quick word from our sponsor. Virtue Signal, the card game. Virtue Signal is a card game parody of social justice activism. In Virtue Signal, you play as one of 12 different social justice warriors. The object of the game? Simple. Amass an army of NPC followers. There's also the Virtue Signal Problematic Card Pack, featuring cards such as Wax My Balls Bigot, and you can get it all for only $34.98. Get yours today by clicking on the link down below in the description. So let's just jump right into this article, folks. Facebook says there's a reason why right-wing figures are driving more engagement. It's not that the algorithm favors conservatives. The company has long maintained that its platform is neutral. Yeah, right. Instead, the right is better at connecting with people on a visceral level, the company says. Now, I love their explanation here. Quote, right-wing populism is always more engaging, a Facebook executive said in a recent interview with political reporters. When pressed why the pages of conservatives drive such high interactions, the person said that the content speaks to, quote, an incredibly strong primitive emotion by touching on such topics as, quote, nation, protection, the other, anger, and fear. Do you see how they're painting all of this? Like, I find this choice of words incredibly hilarious. They're basically trying to say, those right-wing conservative trolls are only popular because they appeal to fear and primitive emotions. They're not evolved like us liberals. As he adjusts his monocle. You see, these people are arrogant, they're smug, and they think that they're better than you. If you're not on their side, if you're not a liberal, if you're not a leftist, they think that you're dumb. But the reality is, no, this is not the story, okay? The reason that populism is popular is because it's populism. It's popular ideology. Maybe America should take care of its own citizens before taking care of foreigners. Maybe America should protect itself from threats, foreign and domestic. Maybe America should recognize that it cannot simply bow down to other countries. That is populism. That is nationalism. That is what you would say, common sense. But there's also more to it than that. As someone who survived Trump's election and the meme wars, I know a thing or two about memes and the left. You see, back in the day, basically in the meme wars, the Democrats tried to make memes, and they just ended up being really cringy and lame. They weren't like right-wing memes, which were organic and fun. Pepe the Green Frog, trolling the media, repeating digits, spooky 4chan. You see, right-wing memes are just fun. They're engaging, they're interesting. The left-wing memes are forced. They're walls of texts. They're preaching. They're annoying, and they're not funny. So it's not just visceral emotion. It's not just that people are afraid. It's that people care. They care about themselves, their country, and their countrymen. Quite unlike the modern-day left, which just wants to call you racist and say that you're terrible because you're American. So the article continues. In the final stretch of the 2020 campaign, the Facebook post with the most engagement in the United States, measured by likes, comments, shares, and reactions, are from conservative voices outside the mainstream media. Dan Bongino, Ben Shapiro. Dude, he's mainstream as heck. David Harris, Jr., Franklin Graham, and Blue Lives Matter, according to the Facebook-owned tool CrowdTangle. Trump's personal page also regularly makes the top of the list, in effect, allowing him to become a publisher in his own right and navigate around the traditional media. And this Facebook stuff is pretty big. I wonder if I should make a Facebook account. But, yeah, they pretty much highlight the point here. All of these figures are alternative independent media, and I strongly believe that independent media is the future. And honestly, I'm thinking I need my own Facebook page or something. How do you do that, folks? I'm not sure. The article goes on to say, left-wing posts make the daily top 25 much less frequently. Former Labor Secretary Robert Reich and the Facebook-savvy Occupy Democrats are among the pages that occasionally hit such levels of engagement. They are mad. They are so butt mad. Look here, the growth of right-wing content on the platform has enraged liberals. Cry more. Who accuse the social media giant of kowtowing to the right of fear of being painted as biased towards the left. It has also ratcheted up the brawl between the left and right over social network weeks before the election, as both parties try to influence the platform's policies. So you can see that the salt is flowing. They are so salty they could fill the Dead Sea. Now, all conservatives really want is to be able to have free speech. The left wants the right-wingers to be censored. And you know why? Because they see that the right is winning. They see that they're winning, and they want to shut it down. I gotta show you this famous 4chan post. And I know, some of you have already seen it, but bear with me. This is very important for people who have never seen it before. Adam says, from 4chan, there's a general phenomena I've noticed on the internet. Any forum with free speech and little to no moderation becomes right-wing. Leftist ideas cannot exist without censorship and moderation. This is why we've started seeing armies of paid shills trying to flood spaces with their talking points. Now, this is a very important post, and it highlights a very simple truth. The reason that the left and these left-wingers and liberals and Democrats, the reason they're so angry and they're so afraid of right-wing groups, conservatives, having platforms online is because they win. They win. They beat these leftists. Every single time they get blown out of the water. Eventually, without censorship, without moderation, conservatives win. Leftist ideas cannot exist without censorship and moderation because left-wing ideas are so often simply untrue. It is not true that simply allowing the borders to be open and the country to get flooded with cheap labor, it's not true that that is a good thing. It's not a good thing. It's a bad thing. There's a lot of bad things that the modern day left is supporting. They're supporting rioting. They're supporting endless immigration. They're supporting crime. They're supporting no voter ID. They're supporting things that hurt the country. But then they go around and they tell you that, no, we're actually the good guys. Our policies will help you. Even though all they're going to do is raise taxes and basically ruin everything for everybody because that's what the left does, whether they like it or not. Good intentions does not mean you get good results. If left-wing ideas were better, if leftists were better, you wouldn't need to censor conservatives. The fact that you do proves that you're wrong and the conservatives are right. When you can't play fair, when you can't win by actually just putting out your ideas and making memes and whatever, when you cannot win fairly, you cheat. And that's exactly what they're asking for. They go on to complain about the organic success of Shapiro and other right-wing figures on Facebook. The article says, the liberal group Media Matters, which is mostly known for tracking conservative, channels and pages and groups they've determined are influential or of concern, according to spokesperson Laura Keeter, there's something at Facebook that relatively or intentionally is mollifying the right wing. Adam Connor, who worked for Facebook in Washington, says, it's absurd for Facebook to say it's something that's playing out in a neutral way. This feels like abdication of responsibility. So what they're basically saying is that they want right-wingers to be censored on Facebook because they cannot win. Because they're losers.
Because you are dirt! You make me sick, you big baby! Baby want a bottle? A big dirt bottle?
They want to censor their political opponents. Well, you know what? Why don't you just make better content? Why don't you make better memes? Why don't you try to do that? Because you suck, your ideas are dumb, and people are tired of your nonsense. Okay, but that, my friends, is merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. What do you think about this story? Let me know down below in the comment section. If you want to support the channel, you can join me on Patreon or Subscribestar. If you want to donate, visit my donor box page or send me crypto. Links and addresses are down below. You can also support the channel by visiting my merch store and perhaps one of my sponsors. And of course, sharing the video is vastly, vastly appreciated. Help me spread, and I'm gonna look into this Facebook thing. Anyhow, thanks for watching. This has been Mr. Obvious, and I'll see you all next time.